Hey, hello everybody. How we doing tonight? Welcome to WagWorksGA. I'm Jeff with the G. That's the G in GA. The A would be my wife, Ashley. We are a husband-wife creative duo. We are working on kids' graphic novels, actually. If you're here on Twitch, you're going to see me usually doing some art. I like to I've done some graphic novel stuff on here, on some works in progress that we're getting in shape for submission, but usually you'll see me doing slice of life comics, the occasional t-shirt design. Lately we've been doing a lot of game fan art. One of the pieces which will be available as a prize in the Awesome Games Done Quick marathon that kicks off Sunday, y'all. I'm really excited. We can talk about more about that in a second. I am, getting it together. It's been a day. Chat. You ever have one of those days that just won't quite stop happening? That's where I'm at, but it's good. I'm here. This is my chill out time. This is good. I like hanging out with y'all, doing some art. It's good, and a little green tea never hurts. Whew. Yeah. Well, welcome. Now that I'm composed. So I hope you're having a good night tonight. Anybody out there joining us, or watching the VOD, or watching the recording over on YouTube. Hey, I'm glad you're here. It's nice to have you here, sharing the art time with you. Sorry, my collaborator / stream producer / art director is hanging out over here. Just one moment. All good. Just parental coordination happening as always. So yeah, gosh, I guess the first exciting news, or the first thing I kind of hinted at was that the piece that we did on stream, like the entirety, brainstorming and all, is gonna be. We ordered it. We ordered the canvas print. It, in fact, I think was supposed to arrive today. It's okay. It's been a day. It's all good. It was supposed to arrive today to the prize coordinator sent for Games Done Quick. And for those of you who weren't here for that series of streams, because we thumbnailed out some ideas before settling on a piece, and then I finished it. As you'll probably notice, I like thumbnailing out ideas here on stream. Just a moment while Clip Studio Paint decides what it wants to do here. There we are. All right. So, yeah, this is the guy. I'm really proud of how this one came out. This Sinnoh Pokemon starter picnic piece will be available as a 16 by 20 canvas wrap print, and that will be at some point during the Awesome Games Done Quick marathon. I don't know if they put the schedule for when prizes are available up yet. So the way it works, if you're not familiar with Games Done Quick, they're an organization that they put together video game speedrun marathons for charity. They've been going for years and years now. They've raised over like $43 million for charity. It's an incredible group. So the schedule's out, but I don't think the prize page is live yet. It probably won't go live until pretty close to the event. Yeah, just checking on their page to see. But at any rate, so the way it works, you know, you watch the marathon, you have fun, you enjoy it, right here on twitch.tv/gamesdonequick, all one word. And then you can go to their page and you can click a donate button, and that lets you do a direct donation via PayPal to the charity that they're featuring for their winter marathon. Awesome Games Done Quick. It's usually the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So the money goes directly to them. There's no slice taken out by GDQ. And then because you do it through their forum, GDQ has a log. And if you enter during certain runs or certain windows of time, certain amount of donations are available for to be in the raffle for a prize. So this will be one of them. So I'm excited. I was excited to do it. I was really excited when they accepted it, and I hope it gets there in time to even make the prize segments. I did one last year for Awesome Games Done Quick 23. Yes, last year was 2023. And I didn't quite get it shipped to them in time to be on the prize segments. And then I did one for the Summer Games Done Quick, and that did make it, and that was just super cool to see. Yeah, even like they had it like on the table of prizes. They had it on the table of prizes before they actually got to the segment where it was featured, and I just saw it on the table and I pretty much lost my mind, and that was really exciting. That was very exciting for me. Good times were had by all, except for maybe the neighbors who could hear me like shrieking excitedly. They maybe didn't have good times, but that's okay. We're good now. So we did the Games Done Quick. That's exciting. What we'll be working on tonight is our Pokemon trading card game. They have the illustration contest, so we're working on our piece for that. I put the pencils that we did up on Instagram. I managed to do it just more than 24 hours before this stream to give everyone a little time to vote. And I saw we were getting some votes in the comments of the post. So I think we'll do in just a second here. All right, I see 7 votes in. Okay. So what do I do? What I'm gonna do? All right. Just gonna get ye old Instagram window up here. Give me a second, because clearly I had the time to get this all prepared in advance. Yeah. Okie doke. Just about there. Thanks everybody for your patience. Isn't that always the thing they say? Thank people for their patience instead of asking for their forgiveness. Okay, so it should be arriving tomorrow. That's okay. Hopefully it arrives in time. We'll see, folks. Ashley was just checking on the shipping info for the prize for the Pokemon piece. But either way, I'm excited. It will be there. It will be available as a prize. And I'm just happy to contribute. It's cool. I'm not a speedrunner, so it's cool to contribute in some way to the Games Done Quick community, because they're super cool and I'm kind of in awe of them, and they're in fact the entire reason I'm here on twitch.tv. So but that's a story for another time, maybe 5 minutes from now. We'll see. All right, so this is it, guys. This is the page. This is the post. So we had 4. We got Bidoof, Feraligatr, Eevee, and Flygon, where the pencils, these are just sketches, right? So these aren't final lines, but they're a little bit tighter. You can see pretty well what's going on, what it's meant to look like. And close-ups of each of them. Flygon was a little rougher. Oh, before I get to the voting though, before I do that, I did want to share what happened. So if you have been watching and you were paying super close attention, maybe you aren't, which is understandable. You'll notice that these were all a little bit different, except for the Eevee one, than what I actually finished on stream. It's because when I was getting ready to export everything to post, I was sharing it with Ashley, who, as I mentioned before, often serves as my art director because she catches a lot of stuff that I don't catch. And she helped me come up with some edits to get a little bit more improvement on the pieces. We talked about it, and after looking at what she was saying, I definitely felt like I needed to update them. So the original pencils for the Bidoof was here, more looking like he's posing like straight up at the camera. So I took notes, like, you know, and this is what I like to do. It's nice if you can take notes on your piece to say what you need to change just in rough, and then go in and make the edits. So after combining that all, we landed here. No, I'm not gonna save that. All right, then the fur alligator. Likewise, just a few smaller changes. So this is what we originally were at, mostly with the background, and also I noticed the foot was super wonky on the right side. So here's the notes that I took, and that got us here. And then Flygon was the biggest revision. Because the perspective was weird, you couldn't quite tell what was going on, it didn't quite lead the eye, and it was just kind of a lot going on. It took me a lot. That was the one I struggled most with, getting the pencils together anyway. So like the edits were much more, a bit more tense. So you can see I used, tried to do a little more composition with a Fibonacci spiral, just a really rough approximation of it at least, but I think it works. So even my notes weren't exactly spot on, and it took a little bit more work and a little bit of coming back and retouching it before I finally got to what I wanted, but I did. I got to here, and I think this reads much clearer. Yeah, and I think it gives more of the feeling of the theme, which the theme for this one, by the way, was magical moments with Pokemon. So the discovery of, I think it gives like the wonder of the discovery of the flower at the top of the cactus, the, you know, kind of treasure out in the desert. So I'm happy with how that one came out. I feel much better about that piece. And then of course we had the Eevee, and that one actually didn't get any revision. That one I left more or less as is. So that's where we're at. So, well, I guess we'll do this first, and then I'll change my category officially over to art, since right now we're just chatting. So, reviewing the votes. We've got one for Eevee. If I had prepped this ahead of time, I would have started tallying them on somewhere, but that's okay. Yeah, could you? Because reading them, I'm having a little trouble keeping mental track at the same time. Because, you know, it's been that kind of day. It's been a day. Not the worst day, but a day. We've got one for Eevee. And if there are posts that mention two, I think we should count both, because it'll kind of like, okay. Then one for alligator, and one for Bidoof. One for Eevee, one for alligator, one for Bidoof.
It's like a pattern or something.
Our Instagram comments messing with us, playing games. What was the last one that I said? Bidoof. Okay. Then Eevee. Then Bidoof. Do we have a tie?
Yes.
We have it.
Is that it?
That's it. Yes.
So yeah,
for alligator. Okay, we have a tie. Would you like?
Throw my vote in?
You may be the tie-breaking vote.
Evie.
Evie. Okay.
Also like Evie Brown.
Okay.
Make it magical. Stars in the sky.
Do magical art stuff. You got it. She also does this in the notes for like the illustration notes and some of the manuscripts that she writes. She'll be like, make it look awesome and magical. I'm like, okay. Hand trembling as I like pick up the pen to do it.
Yeah.
It's all good. Say what? Tea. Green tea. Did we get instant coffee with a? We did. Okay. I tried finding it, but you know me and finding. He was literally out on the counter. Awesome. All right, thanks. Usually I have coffee before stream. It helps, although hot tea is nice too. I do have a hot green tea every night anyway. All right, so with that tie-breaking vote, the winner is Evie. Woo, yay! That's my fireworks. And so the plan is this. I'm going to do that one first. So then next up, since Bidoof came in second, if I finish the Eevee, get it completed and submitted to the illustration contest ahead of the deadline, I've still got time, then I would go on to work on Bidoof. I can submit up to 3, so only one of these would not be able to be submitted. And then from the votes, it looks like that is, it's going to be Flygon. But I may finish that piece another day just for fun. But I don't have to do that by January 31st. Okay, I think it's going to be art time now. So it is time for the thing we do every stream before we delve into the main art project of the night. Do a little warm-up just to loosen up the arm, get my brain thinking about shapes and 3D space and all that good artsy stuff. And also loosen it up because I got my COVID booster last night and it's a wee bit sore. Being really smart, I just offered my right arm without thinking, and they're like, oh, the arm that I use for everything. That was a good call. But it's cool. I can do this. Yeah, my warm-up is Pokemon cards. Unironically, this is why I'm entering this contest. It's like I was meant to do it. I pick one of 5 random ones, just from the selection that we have around the house. I pre-pick 5 that I like, that I think are cute, or that I feel like might fit the season or what have you, and then I pick one of those randomly right here on stream, and then we spend 5 minutes just doing like a real rough sketch. So it's gonna end up at something probably a little bit rougher than what you saw for the pencils, and then if I have time finishing the rough sketch, I might go in and start doing like a pencils phase where I tighten it up, fix my favorite lines, pick my favorite lines, fix my favorite lines, excuse me, and start really nailing it down. But usually we don't get too far past that in 5 minutes, especially if I have to fiddle around with a pose a little bit. You know how it goes. Thank you, Stream Elements. I am live. I've been live for a while, buddy. Anywho, so the cards, I never really show which ones I picked out in advance, usually, and I can change that, Oh, and I was gonna change the category, right. Now we're officially doing art. It's good. It's all good. Okay. So yeah, I have I pre-picked out. We got Psyduck here. We got Stuffle. Can you tell that's a gen that I haven't played yet? Linoon. Miltank. If you played the original Gold, the Stuff of Nightmares was Whitney's Miltank. And of course we have Skitty. So let's pick one randomly. Shuffle. All right, and you. All right. The Nightmare. Miltank. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna get my reference image up here. I definitely think it's good to use reference images. Obviously, for a long time as a self-taught artist, I thought, oh, that's like cheating if you use a reference image. It's not, you're not drawing it just from your brain. It's been nice being more in community with other artists, and starting to realize, like, no, references are really important. You don't have to know how to draw everything just off the top of your head. And the key is, like, one, you're not here to trace or copy, but it is good to know how things look. And also it can be really helpful actually to, instead of looking at just one reference, you could actually grab a whole bunch to get the idea of the structure of the thing, and then you can more easily kind of stylize it and position it how you want. For this is just a quick warm-up, so I'm just grabbing one. I'm starting the timer. Feel free to draw along, and here we go. And my usual disclaimer here is I like to do my rough sketches in a non-black color, just to make sure it's clear it's not the final lines that I'm working on here. I like to make my brush size pretty ginormous so that I'm not tempted to get too caught up in detail. And one constraint that I usually put on myself, or one route that I'll usually go with these, is to make it a sleeping Pokemon. One, because it's just cute, and two, nope. And I started drawing on the reference layer anyway. This is usually the time also where I give the disclaimer about labeling your layers and how that can help keep you from drawing on the layers you don't want to. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. But I usually do sleeping Pokemon. They're cute, and on top of that, like, giving yourself that little bit of a constraint kind of helps. Just giving yourself a little bit of a rule, so you're not spending your time being like, oh, what is it? What am I gonna make it doing? Well, right? Like, you kind of have this idea. All right. Okay, so you got very pear-shaped body. Kind of head's gonna be here. Nice round, big leg right there. It's like that little lily pad shaped hoof. It wouldn't be straight up like that though. Be more down like that. The head would be up a little bit, because I'm gonna have it resting its head right on its arms here. Because one, it's cute, and two, it's a very common real animal pose. I never noticed the little, like, triangle shape in the forehead before. Not that I used it on a lot of my teams, but I've caught Miltanks before. There is something that's not quite going right with this head shape. little better. So this would definitely be one of those pieces that, and I've had plenty of them, and I'm sure if you're listening and you're an artist as well, even just recreationally, even if you just draw things for yourself, you know, some pieces like you start out and they just kind of fight you along the way, and it takes a bit of a struggle and a lot of reworking before you finally get it to where you want it to be. This feels like this would be one of those if I came back to this one later to redo. Sometimes it's that your just initial idea isn't quite sound. Okay, so that was 5 minutes. That one I think this one fought me a little bit more in this setup. So we didn't get to pencils, but you know, we got a workable start with the rough sketch layer. That's something that we could always come back to another day and kind of really dig in and investigate like what is not quite working here. So, okay. Well, that is our warm up. So now we'll move on. So as I said, Evie was the winner of our vote. You know, full disclosure, Evie is a favorite of mine, and Umbreon is actually my favorite Pokemon, so there was, you know, I worked a little bit of that on into this piece. And so the goal is tonight we're just gonna line this. Nothing too crazy. I am wiped out. As I mentioned, we got our COVID boosters last night, and I'm tired. I think I've weathered it pretty well compared to like most of the rest of my family. couple of us had a bit of a rough day, but everyone's doing a bit better now, and it's nothing that a good night of rest won't help with. But yeah, even though I fared pretty well with it, I'm tired, and I even felt it. Like for me, I don't know how it is for you guys when you get the booster, but like within about like, I don't know, it wasn't even 6 hours, even like it was, I guess like 5 or 6 hours, I start to get a real, just like everything just feels a little bit funky. Like I don't know how else to describe it. A little floaty, dreamy, funky, and I got that last night, and then most of the day it's been good. I've had a few pockets of that, but most of the day it's just been a sore arm and a little bit tired, but you know how it goes. Okay. You know what? I've been lining a lot of stuff lately with the G pen, but I've also done like the picnic piece and a lot of other stuff I've done with the designer pencil, and I like that kind of rough, not quite so perfect line quality to it. It gives it a little bit of life. I'm doing another set right now for our educational comics that we're doing with some friends from Kids Comics Unite. And those ones I'm doing in a much cleaner style, so I'm using the G pen, and I've gotten kind of used to that again. But I think I'm gonna go with the designer pencil for this. Make sure we're on design pencil. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with that. You know, if push came to shove, I could always reline it later. Not that I want to do that, especially if I'm trying to get multiple pieces done for a submission. I'm a little excited. I haven't really entered any art contests recently, so it'll be fun to throw it in. And I don't go in assuming anything. I'm excited just to do it. Like I said, draw Pokemon like literally every stream, so it's kind of perfect for me to do this one, right? Okay, it might be a little thicker than I want to go. Okay, that's kind of the line quality I'm looking for. All right, so if you're out there in chat, one, I'm always, you know, this is a lurk safe environment, so you can just hang out. I never have to know you're here, whatever, just hang out. I'm not gonna call you out, anything like that. I'm just happy to have you here. But if you're here in chat and you feel like shouting out your favorite Pokemon, feel free to do so. Or alternately, you could just completely make up a Pokemon that doesn't even exist. Actually, it reminds me of if you've ever seen, it's like, I guess, a fan game or a mod. I'm not sure what you'd classify it as. I'd have to look it up. But Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Definitely not a Nintendo Game Freak production, but it's pretty cool where they have, like, they do fusions of the Pokemon. Some of them are cute, some of them are cool, some of them are absolute nightmare fuel. But if you're curious, look, you should look up, because I've, like, people stream it here on Twitch pretty frequently. Pretty frequently is what I was gonna say. So if you're curious, check out a stream of it. It's entertaining. It's a trip. We'll put it that way. Not quite what I was going for. Hey, all right, and the nose too. Such a teeny little nose. Even smaller than that, I think. I feel like if I was gonna make a bingo card for my own stream, one of the items on it would be Jeff accidentally headbutts the microphone. I feel like I've been doing that a whole lot lately. No, that's not right. And of course the other would be Jeff draws on the wrong layer. I've been told another good one would be Jeff says, "It's all good." Although apparently I say that so much that it might just kind of be a free space. And you may be saying to yourself, Jeff, aren't you just kind of tracing here? Couldn't you just take, say, your entire layer that you've got with the pencils, convert the line color, and be done with it? And I'd say to you, yes. Yes, I could do that. But there's a reason I like to make my pencil layer so tight, and that's because I don't want to have to think about shape and details when I'm doing the lining stage here. As you know, most art programs that interface with either like a pen and a stylus here, or you might have like a Huion tablet, Wacom, XP pen. Any of those are, I see any of them used by artists all across the internet. And so they're pressure sensitive, right? So in this case, I got a brush that is both size and opacity sensitive. So the harder I push, the darker and the bigger the line is. But the lighter I push, the thinner and the lighter it is. and it gives you a lot of freedom to really get the quality of line that you're looking for in what you're doing. But to that end, I like to be able to focus on that when I'm lining a piece. And if you haven't heard my spiel before, I like to draw kind of the, what a lot of comic artists work in, which is you get a sketch layer, then you've got a pencils layer that tidies it up, again, picks the favorite lines that you already drew and starts to fill in the details. And the pencils layer is gonna, different artists will do that out to various degrees. But after the pencils layer, you'll do your ink layer. So inking or just your final lines, whatever you want to call it. And then you lay down colors, shading, lettering, all that. So what I like to do is figure out all my details in the pencils phase. So that means that when I come here to do lining, it becomes, it's kind of this chill zen thing where I'm just kind of focusing in. This is nice work to do when you're tired. Because I'm not having to make any hard decisions here. I've already made all the decisions. I may run into something in the pencils and ooh, that was a mistake, or oh, that's not coming out quite right, especially when I see it, using my final brush and final lines. But also what it really lets me do is focus on my line quality. And here, the design pencil is pretty forgiving. You can, intentionally do things like this little area where you get a little softer. And it gives it, again, that kind of a little bit of that hand-drawn feel, and a little bit of liveliness to the line and the texture. But you've got other pens that are very attentive to your pressure. Oh, actually, I didn't see. Top favorites are Maractus and Eevee. Absolutely, I love Maractus. Actually, that's one of the great newer ones. I was so zoned in here, did not see that come through. But yeah, so you've got pens like the G Pen series. This is actually a custom G Pen I found on the Clip Studio Assets store, but they can vary really large amounts based on your pressure. So especially if I'm lining with the G Pen, I need to just focus on my line quality and pen pressure. Trying to make a lot of complex design decisions, detail decisions while I'm doing that is much harder for me. Yeah. So that's what that's all about. But yeah, I've done pencils layers that are much looser. And you might see artists over on Instagram or somewhere post their process pictures. Some of them will have really loose pencils, that are almost at what my sketch layer is typically. And that's not a knock on them. That's kudos to them, because they can take that and refine it into something amazing in the lines phase. So I think that's a very experienced artist thing to see. Not to trash on my own ability, but I definitely like to have decisions made already when I start coming to my lines. And for those of you who are uninitiated at Clip Studio Paint, that is the art program I'm using. It is has a lot of great Photoshop-like qualities. without the Photoshop price. There are subscription models to it, but you can also just buy it once and own it perpetually, and that's real nice. Additionally, it has a lot of great tools for comics, manga, and graphic novel creators. Which, if you ever tune into one of my comic streams, you can get to see some of those in action. I mean, I think there's tons of illustrators and comic artists on Twitch who also use it, so it's great. I switched over to it several years ago, and I've been really happy with it ever since. We actually have a great group of creators in our Clip Studio Cafe, which is a part of Kids Comics Unite, which is just a whole community of kids graphic novel creators. We have a whole Clip Studio Cafe group that every week we get together and discuss our process. We say like, oh, hey, did you see this feature? Or, you know, I'm getting this really weird behavior. Do you guys get this? Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? It's a really great group. And it's all thanks to Clip Studio that we get together. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, one of the other nice things about Clip Studio is that you can do vector layers. I am working in a vector layer, so that means that I'm just connecting. Instead of drawing what they call the raster style, where you're coloring in pixel by pixel, this actually draws vertices or points along your line and connects them with a curve. And it follows your pen stroke very closely. But the nice thing is that you can come back and adjust it if you don't like it, and that can be really great. And also you can do cool stuff like the vector eraser. So say I wanted to do a little detail here like this, just get messy and cross over the lines. I can just say whoopsie daisy and erase it, and I can tell it to erase only up to the intersection of the lines. And of course, the other super cool thing about vector layers is they rescale incredibly well. Like I could make this piece 4 times its size, right? And you're not going to get any weird blockiness or blurriness in your vector layers. And that's great. So it's a really great tool for doing lines. I was working it. I'll bring it down to 7. You can tell I'm tired because I've forgotten my hotkeys again. There we go. Yep, come on. That's 3 headbutts for anyone who's counting. Start a poll next time. How many times will Jeff headbutt the mic? Those little lines might come out later, but for now I'm good with it. Alright, I'll put this here just kind of to note where we get the color transition in the tail. They may not stay in there. At the very least, they don't have to be continuous. Okay. Okay. And you'll note what I'm doing here. I did all my pencils and sketches on a single layer, right? So just to get it out quickly. But now, as I'm starting to move into it, I'm doing lines and individual pieces on their own layers. And what's really nice about that is it allows me to do more adjustment of composition on the fly. So I can draw background behind where Eevee is. And I can basically have kind of each element of the scene set out separately. And I used to use that a lot more as a safety for composition when I didn't take as much time on my pencil layers and sketch layers to kind of work out everything. And it still comes in handy every now and then when I do it. It is possible to go overboard and give yourself too much work, but it's nice. It's nice to be able to adjust that really easily. And also, I've found that if you like to play with Clip Studio Paint's animation features, it's super helpful to have your elements on different layers. Which I had just happened to do that for SCBWI, which is Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. They do monthly drawing prompts for their illustrators. You just post it up on Instagram. They'll select one as the favorite. I didn't win or anything, but I did do one that I really liked, and I just happened to be super careful about separating everything out on layers. And that's actually how I got my stream ending animation that you'll see if you stick around. Okay. We'll do the Umbreon toy next. And eventually I will spell toy correctly. It's good. It's good. Okay, we're at 7. That's good. So you may already know this if you are an artist, but using the thicker line is a great way to pull something towards the front to the eye of the viewer. And to that end, I'm gonna make sure that the Umbreon is just a slightly smaller. That was apparently very hard to say. Smaller line weight than Eevee. And that just lets it kind of be, okay, this is here. This is something to look at. But I guess it gives a cue as to kind of the visual priority of things. And then the background will be an even slightly smaller size for the weight. And again, it's just one of those things that can help direct the eye a little bit of the viewer and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to tell you. It was actually really interesting to me. I did a few years ago just like this short online graphic design certificate course. And it was cool. And being a self-taught artist and having not done like classroom work in it, I thought it was really cool to get introduced to all the concepts of design and all that. Certainly there is much more that I could learn and delve into, but it was cool. And one of the first things they told us in the course that really was surprising to me, I guess there's actually two things. One, that illustration is actually considered design and not art. And that's because of the reason that the difference between design and art is that art is open to interpretation and it should make the viewer think. And no two people necessarily have to look at a piece of art and come away with the same conclusion or feeling. But design is actually communicating something intentionally. And if someone comes away, or what the instructor said at least, is that if someone comes away from your design with a different interpretation than what you intended, then you actually have failed your job at design. And I thought that was really interesting. It was kind of eye-opening to me. It's kind of framed how I've looked at it ever since. It's like, okay. Especially illustrating, especially like graphic novel, there's a whole visual like language, there's a whole visual hierarchy. And it's up to you, the artist, to use that effectively to like communicate the things that you want to about the story, to lead the viewer's eye, like give them all these little cues that, like, when they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, it's true. You're actually telling them all sorts of stuff in your illustration. Anyway, that was very fascinating to me, and it was super cool. I'm actually going to give these guys their own folders because I'm going to add in some additional stuff. In this case, I'm gonna add a white fill layer in here. Fill. Oh, my spelling is atrocious. Okay. I promise I'm fine, guys. I promise. All right. So you go there. You. No. Oh, right, because it didn't set as the reference layer. There we go. Oh, what I should do. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Okie dokie. Turn off anti-aliasing here. Okay, so what am I doing right now? Maybe a thing that you're asking yourself. Well, oh, there's a better way to do this. Duh. There we go. And I'm gonna invert my selection. Okay. There we go. I did miss a few. Okay, some things weren't connected 100%, huh? Alright, so I'm just filling in the white behind Eevee to be a little bit, to make things just a little less distracting for me. Oh, it's the gap. Yep. Okay, let's mess with this just a wee bit. Okay, that's better. That's better. I just increased the tolerance, or the amount that Clip Studio will close gaps in the lines, and by doing that, I'm really trying to select right now the entire area outside of Eevee, and then I've inverted that, so now it's selected the entire area inside of Eevee without me having to click and get all the little bits and pieces. And I just do this fill on the selection, and it gives me this nice little white fill for where my Eevee is. And again, this is for me just to be a little less distracted, because now I can do full lines for everything behind while the layer's toggled off, but I'm not gonna like see the conflicting like, oh, that looks messy, ew, gross. It just declutters my brain a little bit, and that will actually be a helpful layer to select later. Like I can just come here and control select on the layer and table of contents. Thank you, Jeff Larkin, for teaching me that trick, by the way. Yeah, and so it's easy to select now the whole layer to apply stuff like gradients or really whatever I want. So yeah, whee! Okay, that got included. Come on. There we go. Nope, too far. Come on! There we go. Okay, and I'm really just I'm gonna set the lines as a reference layer, so Clip Studio is like, okay, this vector path is what I care about. I'm gonna select here. I can see it got the selection I wanted. It went up to the darkest pixel in my line, and it closed all the gaps, so it gives me this nice clean selection, which I'm going to invert, which will then have the effect of selecting inside of Umbreon. I'm going to create a new raster layer, because you cannot fill flat color on a vector layer. Put that underneath my lines, and I'm just going to choose to fill it white, and there we go. Yeah. So that's easy enough right there. Okay, so now we're going to be mainly just focusing on the background. I'm trying to think about how much do I actually care about splitting this out. Oh, I forgot the coolest part about having things on separate layers and having the easy selection is you can do it. It's easy to make clipping layers and things like that. But that's another time. I might split this out, because I love the idea of this piece, and if it comes out like half as good as the moment that I have in my mind, I'm gonna want to animate it, and it's much easier to go back and much easier to work with it and just ignore the fact that you've split stuff out, or merge layers if you want to do that. It's so much easier to do that than it is to try to split them out again later after you've done it. So I'm going to put the effort in up front here. Yes. Okay. But before I get into the background, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get some water, and I will be right back. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, we're back. I hope you had a nice break. Hope you got some water, stretched your legs a little bit, whatever you need to do. But yeah, we're back. Okay, cool. Let's get back going here. Don't mind me, just checking for something here. Navigator, right? Is that what I'm looking for? I was gonna ask. I know I like to zoom in a little bit, quite a bit, in fact, while I'm working. Is it better to be able to see the whole piece? I don't know. It does reduce my screen space a little bit, which I'm not sure I love. But maybe it's less important now. So perhaps more when I'm extreme zooming in on stuff to work on details. I could do that, pop it out or something. Yeah. Actually, I wonder, chat. So can I? Yeah. No. That was definitely not what I had intended to do. What have I done? Okay. That wasn't favorite. That was not favorite. Yeah. Okay. Another time. Let's get back to it. Okay. Gonna create a folder here for floor and wall. And these are gonna be just real simple. Curtains. Even floor, wall, window. Curtains, and then I'll also do one for behind all that, outside sky. I don't want you in here. There we go. Okay, so those are kind of the layers that I want to separate out. If I was gonna do an animation with this, I might want like the curtains to like gently sway with like a breeze. I may want to have, you know, some kind of twinkling going on in the stars in the sky. Not that that has to be on a separate layer, but you know, actually having it where the sky is just one thing, and the divider of the window actually masks out part of the whole big picture. These things can be useful. So I think that's how I'll divide it up, and they're all pretty simple. So, sorry, I'm just staring off into space, contemplating the void. You can tell chat when I've not had my coffee before stream, because I start zoning out a little bit. I'm noticing it, y'all. Alright, I think I did the Umbreon toy at like what, 8 line weight. So the curtains I'll bring down just slightly. Just ever so slightly. And I know what you're thinking. This is me and my nemesis, straight lines. But we're gonna get through this together, guys. Am I gonna draw this line 7, 8, 10 times? Maybe. Maybe. Although, one really good, cool piece of advice that I heard from a professional artist on it is that apparently the straightest line you can draw, if you're drawing properly from your shoulder, is a line straight down. I will say, though, screens are slippery. Screens are slippery, and maintaining your line on a screen can be challenging. But that's not what you came here to see. And I mean, I can go back in and do like use vectors to clean things up a wee bit. I've certainly done that in the past when my lines have gotten away from me a little bit. But also, I don't like falling into that trap, I should say, of like getting so caught up in your line that you're like, okay, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna micromanage every single line. I'm gonna make sure it's perfect and precious and neat. And, you know, that kind of shows, honestly. I think it was something that it took me some time to learn, some time and some really good critique. Is that yes, there's like a bajillion tools to make a perfectly straight line. But the perfectly straight line isn't actually what you always want. It's it doesn't have any life to it, right? Like it's just this kind of, you know, it's so stiff and so lifeless that it becomes distracting. I think that's kind of the thing. All right, bring it to about here. There we go. And also that I will say, like, it depends on the style too. I was super excited, by the way, chat. Frank, where have you been? Go back to the 1920s. I mean, let me just hop in my time machine. Oh, I did it. Okay, well, I was pretty happy with that layer, but it's not gonna work. Because it's not, I thought I created a vector layer, but I didn't. You've been picking up the ladies? Well, that sounds busy. I am sure that there is a joke that I'm gonna walk into here, so I'm just gonna be really boring. Because that's what I come here. Just picking up their mail. Oh, dude. Oh no, so you're back on the mail route. Has it been like a couple weeks now? Curtain. I can spell curtain. Certainly I can spell curtain. OMG, Grandpa. It's been since December 28th. Oh my gosh. That was last year. Oh ho ho. Do you see how clever I am? Nope. Not quite. Nope. There we go. There's a cute girl you deliver mail to. Okay. gonna leave her a letter. No, don't do that. I'm gonna leave her a letter. I know where you live. Don't do that. I've been out of the dating pool for a while, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say, don't do that. Please. Just wait. I'll just wait outside her house until she gets home. Easy. I mean, I know you're joking, but also please don't do that. Hey, straight lines, my nemesis. She's silly. I feel like that's a really good trait. I like that. She bought a secure mailbox and immediately lost the key after installing it. I mean, this sounds like a me move. Come on. You have to pray that the guy that's living with her is her brother. Okay, so at least there's like a silver lining to the whole mail delivery situation, and it means that your leg is better, right? Ankle? Leg. No, you hate it. Okay, that's fair. I do try to find the silver lining, but I am not so optimistic that I ignore the dark clouds. Jeff told me to don't break it. Just because you say I told you to do it doesn't mean that I actually told you to do it, man. Please don't break your legs. Please don't break any part of you. Have you had the conversation with your uncle yet? Just be like, listen, I can't do this anymore. How's the hard life of living at Disney? It must be so hard. I mean, I have to hide in that castle all day long while there's people there, and then they finally let me out to go home. Like, it's just... It's hard, man. Living in a small room under the castle. Life is busy. Have I watched It's a Wonderful Life? Actually, no, I have not. I'm aware that it's a classic and I know several references from the movie, but I've never seen it in its entirety. I feel like it's because everyone that I would watch it with has already seen it like a million times, and then they're never really excited to watch it. I was working in the mines when it came out. Oh yeah. Yeah, we were, you know. So like, what's an old-timey sounding mineral? Gypsum. We were mining the gypsum. Found a rich vein, and they wouldn't let us out till we met our quotas. You're grumpy. Like the dwarf? I mean, I do live at Disney, so that's the first place I go. You're officially old now. If you say you're like 27, I'm gonna be... Don't talk to me before 8 a.m. 8 a.m. today or 8 a.m. tomorrow? Oh, dad joke. I mutter curses under my breath. I thought that was like young? Like teenagers. I was that way as like a teenager. That was before I drank coffee. Your water froze because you live with... Oh, dear. Wait. Okay, so you must be at some elevation then, right? Okay, come on, man. Just like 2 lines. That's all you gotta draw. It'll be fine. Draw them and then realize I hate them and come back and redraw them next week. It'll be great. So the only running water was the cold water in the kitchen. So I wake up at 7:30 to warm the car and make coffee. Come on. All right. Okay, that's gonna be good enough. Because it's also gonna be largely behind Evie. Why am I spending so much time on this line? Okay, sorry, narration time. And I see some genius filled the sink with cold water, so I drain it and set my mug to rinse. I turn on the car and wipe the snow off of it. Then I go back inside and my sister is mad at me. Why did you drain my water? I don't know if your sister sounds like that. I'm just trying to switch it up. Okay, curtain layer's done. And we'll do the same thing we did before here. Reference layer. Select everything outside. We'll invert selection. And fill it with white. I asked her why she filled the sink with cold water. She said, "For my sponge bath." And then she got my mug, which is basically clean, and threw it with the dirty dishes. So I get annoyed and decide to change my clothes in the bathroom. Okay. Then she goes to the bathroom while you're changing your clothes. And then... But wait, there's more. I go to look for my earphones under the couch. And guess where she's sitting? So I get mad and just leave. Alright, we're gonna again notch down our line thickness a bit here, just because this is the background. And here... So I was gonna go get coffee and a burrito at this food place. And I missed the turn. I mean, I could just use the ruler here. It's a background line. So I was angry and punched the roof of the car. Then I go to deliver the mail. And I get to the end of the route, which is 45 minutes out of town. And the scanner logs out. Nope, I'm drawing in white again. There we go. And the only way to log in is to log in at the post office. So I have no way to scan things. So I punch the truck. Then... This is a long day for you. Gotta say, buddy. Made burgers for dinner, and there wasn't enough buns for everyone. So I'm like, I'll just make them burgers and get something from town. I finished the burgers. All I have to do is move the burger plate from the counter to the table. Oh no. Oh no, Frank. I'm afraid for you right now. Little blanket or something that Evie will be laying on. And the plate slips out of your hand and shatters on the floor, and the burgers are... You're punching a lot of things. Have you broken your hand yet? And you went to bed without dinner. Oh, man. Well, I'm thankful you haven't done that. Please consider stopping punching things so you do not injure your hand, is my advice. I haven't yet. Okay, so really... Oh, the window. Yeah. So I am using rulers here for the structure of the window. And I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff about making lines be dynamic and not too rigid. And I 100% stand by that. But also, there are ways to mix it up a little bit. So you'll see that I varied the line weight on that other ruler line that I did. Especially since I want these things to fall into the background a bit. I'm a little more comfortable with it. You know, and I may come back and adjust this, but yeah, I feel like there's ways with the ruler that I could still make these lines, which I think are, to me, are a little bit less important than the curtain line or any of the straight lines that I drew 47 million times over. So I feel a little more comfortable using the rulers here. At least that's what I'm gonna go with. You're selective with your frustration punches. You don't punch the walls because, hey, they're Adobe. That's how you break a hand. But there's a dent in the fridge. I'm just saying. One of these days, you punch something in frustration and it breaks, and your frustration is going to be increased. Maybe that's good. Alright, make sure that I'm on my lines layer. I do my best to hit the non-essentials. Okay. And just to be safe, I'm going to take a look at this once I take the rulers off and make sure it doesn't still look super stiff. You wanted to slam the scanner on the ground, but that wouldn't help at all. So you punched the tailgate. The job is making you a grumpy old man. Joining a long line of grumpy old men ahead of you. I don't know, man. I mean, have you looked at doing, like, looked for another one? Like a different one? I know it's not the easiest thing in the world, but something to get out of there. It doesn't seem like it's doing you any favors. I'm old but not grumpy yet. It'll happen soon. I don't know, man. Like the Seven Dwarfs, you know? You know, like on the ride. Soon you'll get the 5 o'clock shadow and start yelling at everyone. I mean, I'm not always a ray of sunshine. Although in the mornings, like, I can get agitated, but it's more just... it's more just sad to see. I'm just not all put together till I have my coffee. Or at least get a couple minutes of my brain to myself, which does not always happen right away with kids, as it turns out. Sometimes they say, no, we have other plans for your brain today, Daddy. Is it true that iguanas are a menace in Florida? I haven't run into this problem in Central Florida. I've read about it, and I would totally believe in Southern Florida they could be. It hasn't been bad up here. I did see some posts about they're really on the watch right now in our area for African snails because they eat stucco. You're watching this guy hunting them, and one of them clawed him. Oh, I've never been clawed by an iguana. Alright. Turn the guideline layer off. Clean this up a little bit with a vector eraser. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been to an iguana farm. He was using a pitchfork to hunt iguanas. Interesting. Does he like... Now, like I said, wow. Fascinating plan. Does he like throw it? Because it seems like they might be, you know... And a rifle. Well then, why would you... Why would you? That's my question. Why would you? But I'm sure people have their reasons. Hello? Vector eraser? There we go. Yeah, gosh, this was years ago. Went on a cruise and went on an excursion to an iguana sanctuary. It's crazy, like just hundreds of them. But you know, they will fall out of the trees when it gets cold. I think my dad used to tell me stories about, because he was in the Keys a little bit when he was younger, and they could, when it gets a really bad cold snap, they'll actually fall out of the trees. He just walked up behind them and pitchforked them. Wow. I mean, that feels real intense, if you ask me. If you ask me. Okay. Got like 8 of them. Like to eat? Like... Because it seems like once you perforate the, you know, the iguana, there's no real going back from that situation. They were just on a boat, and if they saw one, he would shoot them, and they were saving them in a cooler. Yeah, well, at the sanctuary, they said they had to, like, protect the iguanas from locals, like, they would hunt them and eat them. It's like, An alligator is chasing him. Well, that sounds Florida. Come on, Jeff. No, he's... Who are you watching? My goodness. Hunting invasive species. Peacock bass. I've never heard of that one. Cloud done. This would be a kind of cool one to do. I guess if I was going to animate this and have the clouds moving, I would want to consider the clouds being on a separate layer. That might be enough of a what if situation that I'm just going to leave it until when I decide to do that animation. Because also, I've got plenty of other things I've been working on. So maybe I need to not be quite so hung up on that aspect of it. Watching Luke Nichols from the Outdoor Boys. He's from Alaska but does hunting, fishing, camping trips around the United States. Okay, I have never heard of this before. Although to be fair, I'm not like a hunting enthusiast, so it's not really super my cup of tea. Okay. Alright, so I will turn that off. Then I can set you as a reference. I should do the one. Now I see why I should do the white fill there. I'll turn off pencils. Yes. Okay. Okay, those gaps are a little big, so I can tighten that up just slightly. Okay, I think that closes the gaps. So then what I'll do is I'll try this again. No, not quite. He'll get stranded in the middle of nowhere and camp until he gets to civilization. Let's go hunting. I'll fly you out to hunt deer here. He's spearfishing now. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin. Deer hunting is a definite thing there. I never went. But I get, it plays into herd management and the overall health of the deer, actually. So I get it. It's still not really my thing. Let's point and shoot. So, take up photography. I don't like how it squared that off a little bit, but I can always just manually color that in. So I'll invert, so the panels will be see-through. Yep, I didn't change my color. I guess I can add pencils later on now. Fine, we'll go butcher cows, meet your mate. I've met plenty of cows. See aforementioned comment about living in Wisconsin. We lived actually just like kind of in the middle of the state, pretty rural city, and we were just a half a mile less, like maybe, like you could see basically the end of town from our street. Like if you look down, maybe half a mile, you see the cornfields. And I swear one night as a kid, I had my windows open because it was summer, and you know, you don't have air conditioning in Wisconsin. Or at least we didn't at that point in time. And I swore I heard a cow walking down the street. It's a community thing here to help the butcher process your meat. He'll only charge you like $50 if you help him butcher it. What? I mean, I can see it, and I think there's a lot, you know, maybe it makes you appreciate it more, knowing where it came from. Perhaps. Alright, so now we can just layer in. I think we're about done with the lines here, actually. I think I'm okay with those ruler lines. There's a little enough like variation. I feel like that it's okay, especially for something that's just in the background. A full cow. You wait. Does he get the cow or do you bring the cow? Butcher him. I'm good, thanks. I mean, I know where meat comes from. I'm not, you know. You provide the cow. Do you? Oh well, you mentioned your dad in the chicken coop. So do you raise cows? All right, layer this in. We've got the curtains. Not the same length. Okay. That's the other nice thing about doing stuff on separate layers is you can do things like this. Like, okay, that needs to come down. And then I can just extend the lines. And okay, that didn't do quite what I expected. Okay, all of these extend off the edge of the page. What is happening with my select here? Okay, now that's more what I would have expected. All right, cool. Cool. Invert. Go to the fill white layer and fill it. There we go. So now, okay. Yay for easy on the fly adjustments. Your dad would just hit them on the head with a stick like a caveman. Well, I mean, I would imagine it would do the job. Not that I'm endorsing this. I like the bunnies. Okay. Okay. You hated them. Too much Monty Python in the search for the Holy Grail. They do. We didn't raise bunnies, but yeah, plenty of wild rabbit poop. which our dog was like, "Yay, Skittles!" So every couple days you have to shuffle the poo to the garden. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I think we've hit our goal for today. Yeah, really, I was just looking to get this lined. Your dad loves to role play as a rancher. A Jolly Rancher. Oh, your outdoor guy cooked his iguana. It looks good. I mean, yeah. Like I don't know. It's I would try it. I would try it if it was in front of me. I'm not terribly shy about that stuff. Spearfishing for tilapia. I mean, tilapia is good. I know that. I know that one. Okay, well, so I'm gonna do what I do every night and just enjoy the time lapse for a second. See how we got to where we got. At least in the time lapse, it doesn't look like I redrew the straight lines like 100 times. Okay, that's good. He'll go to Hawaii and go scuba diving for lobster. That's an expensive grocery store trip, my friend. That's what I've got to say. Alright, cool. So I'm good with where these lines ended up tonight, and that was really my only goal. Trying to do better about not, like, even though I like streaming a lot, trying not to stream always till like 1 in the morning. That's really late, and it wipes you out the next day, it turns out. I'm trying to do better about sleep as we go into this new year. Turns out, you know, more than 6.5 hours is usually good. But yeah, I'm happy to hang out here and chat for a little bit, Frank. Till about midnight. I think that's gonna be my hard stop tonight. I guess it depends on where they are. But yeah, I've never heard of tilapia as an invasive species. I mean, you hear about like zebra mussels, like lionfish, iguanas, obviously pythons down here in Florida, the African snails, some species of toad. Those are what usually come to my mind for invasive. He speared a like a piece of driftwood. The mighty driftwood. Tilapia from Africa? I learned something new today. I did not know that previously. Okay, so Frank, if you might have missed the vote actually. So we did tally up the votes from the Instagram poll. Obviously Evie won since that's the one I'm working on. Bidoof took second actually. So we're gonna if I move on to a second piece, if I finish this up and have time before the January 31st deadline, I'll move on to that one. But tilapia are the bad guys. Who knew? Who knew? Going to release goldfish in the lake now. I mean, it's only if they're able to survive would they be a problem. But if they're just gonna get eaten up by the other fish, then you know, then that's not gonna do much. All right. Tell you what, guys, I think it's about that time. Yeah, I'm I'm wearing down. Let's go. No, bear hunting. So, my dad used to tell me stories about when we lived up in northern Wisconsin. He knew a guy who was a professor of Native American studies, and as like his, or not. I'm trying to remember if it was that he was a professor or if he was like a student in a graduate program, and for his thesis he spear hunted a bear. Like that's an intense thesis, but people do it and live. But not me, people. I'm not really much of a hunter. Just not what I prefer to do. And on that note, let's do that. Well, you could earn a degree on traditional native people's hunting methods. No. All right, Frank. As much as it could, be fascinating to see where this conversation ends up, I'm tired. I'm wiped out tonight, and I gotta get rolling. So we're gonna wrap up for tonight. Just attack it with bear spray and beat it up. Well, that is a plan. But anyway, so I'll be back next week, Thursday night. Still kind of toying around with ideas of when I can try to fit streams in, maybe bite-sized streams in other times, but I don't have anything conclusive. So yeah, I think next Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be back and we'll be coloring this Eevee piece, laying down at the very least flat colors, and maybe trying to start getting the shading in, because it's, we've only got a little under 3 weeks before the deadline to get it in for the contest. So. And it would be cool if I could do more than one, because there were a lot of votes for Bidoof as well. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Frank, it's always good talking to you. I hope that you can reverse the grumpy old man transformation. I hope that you have a non-self-injury way that you can be done with the mail route. But yeah, we'll check the grumpiness level next week, or you can always just message me with updates. I'll check your Instagram as well. You're going boar hunting. Don't do that. Do not do that. No, please no, please don't do that. So anyway, thanks for anybody who's joined me tonight. You'll be wearing a bear or going bear hunting. Why did I say boar? Anyway. A bear hat. That would be fascinating. But yeah, so thanks for everybody who joined tonight. Thanks Frank. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you maybe learned something, or just had a good time, a good chill time. So yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Yeah, everybody have a good night. Thanks again. All right, see you, Frank.